Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rooted in the Community, a podcast where we talk to our emerging community leaders about life and how they're here and how they fit into the community and where they see themselves and all of us going in the next 5-10 years. Want to give a shout out to Naaman Creative, Josh, and of course, Jordan Rosenberg for recording everything for us and doing such an awesome job. Big shout out to Sun Leaders with Eric Nutting as well for allowing the platform to do this. You can listen to us now on Podbeam, which you can download right on any phone. Our guest today is Emma VanWinkle with Paychex. Super excited to have her on. I've known Emma for seems like forever, but probably around a year at this point, and absolute pleasure. Somebody that's really emerging in our community and doing a lot. Emma, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Mike. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. A little shaky. It's been a weird 8 weeks with the hurricane and everything else. So it's
Definitely.
but we're hanging in there.
Yeah, we are hanging in there. We're doing great.
I feel like we are too. I feel like everybody's coming together. I've seen more of you and everybody else in the past week and a half than I have for a little while. And I feel like we're back to it. So.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think for a while there, a lot of people were just hanging on. You have to do what you have to do when a natural disaster happens. But everybody really has come together, and it's so nice seeing especially being newer to the community, how much people have just been there for each other.
100%. And it's weird because it's you say newer, and I guess it's probably true. It's been a year that's new. It's been under 2 years for me. It seems like we've been there for a decade, though.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it really has. And something really cool about St. Pete to me is there are so many things to be involved in. And no matter which group you're in or what day of the week it is and what's going on, you're going to see people that you know and are excited about you being there. So that's a really good feeling.
100%. It's like a little family. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So you moved to St. Pete when? A year ago? Or
I moved to St. Pete in September of 2023, so a little over a year ago.
Nice. Okay, so give us kind of the backstory, your adventure from where you originally from, what kind of drove you down here and made you stay?
Sure. I am born and raised from Toledo, Ohio. Go Rockets. I started in the real estate industry. I sold commercial real estate for about 3 years at a boutique firm in Toledo. Covered Northwest Ohio and into Southeast Michigan. So I was licensed in both states. I lived in a house with a couple roommates, and our lease was coming up, and I was kind of itching for something different and something new. And I had an offer from a commercial real estate brokerage in Toledo to come work for their Tampa office. So I came down here the summer of 23 to interview, and I ended up not taking that position, but I loved it down here. I had been here a couple times to vacation, and really just found myself wanting more of it. So I did not take that position that I interviewed for the first time I came, but looked around for a couple other things and found myself as a title rep for a title company. And that was a great experience. That's how I met you and a lot of our friends and a lot of the people that I still talk to all the time and see at all these networking events. So that was a really good step for me to come down to Florida, and it was a good progression in my career.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Absolutely awesome. And you're from the Midwest, just like
Yeah,
me,
exactly.
which is cool. So we have that connection.
Yep.
And we love the Midwest. Toledo's awesome. Ohio's awesome. Michigan's awesome.
Yeah.
Not so much in the next coming months for
Right.
us. So
exactly.
It's kind of nice being down here. It's there's an energy,
Definitely. There's a lot of Midwesterners down here
Yes.
that still love and support the Midwest. But like you just said, I mean, how many months a year can you take the cold and the gray? It can wear on you, but I do still love it, and I miss a lot of pieces of that.
I would agree. But I mean, like for me, it's like mid-May to like mid-September.
Right.
You'll see me up there.
Yeah.
Like I have to go up for
Yep.
Thanksgiving this year. And I'm like, that means I'm out for Christmas. If you
Yep.
want to see me, come on down. We
Mm-hmm.
have palm trees. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, and sunshine.
And sunshine.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. Are you going? So you're going up for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I'll be there for almost a week, which will be really nice. I tried convincing my family to come down for Christmas, but I'm never very successful at doing that. But maybe 1 year. I'm sure 1 year soon.
Yeah, that's my thought too. I do the same thing. I don't want to go up there.
Yeah.
They always complain that I don't come up for Christmas, and I'm like, yeah, but like we have a house, and we'll cook, and you guys don't have to do anything, and there's hotels that you can stay in, and that way we're not bothering each other the whole time you're down here. It's a perfect setup, and they won't do it either. I
Yeah,
don't get
I
very
don't
stubborn up
know.
there.
I know they are very stubborn, but that's the good thing about being from the Midwest. It makes you tough.
It does, 100%, and I mean that's what I feel like. You know, really has done well for you since you really started networking. You're tough, you're super professional, you
Thank
hang
you.
in there, you're resilient, right? This is, I feel like, a lot of Midwestern qualities
Yeah.
and you see that down here with a lot of us. And we blend right in and make a life for ourselves, which is awesome. And we met when you were in title. I do mortgages, so it was like obvious, like, well, we should talk and figure out if we can, get clients together, whatever it may be. But that on itself was a journey. You came right in and took networking. You came into the chamber.
Hmm.
Then you were involved in other networking groups, and you had a progression where, you've made a great change now. You're in a better spot, but you put in the time and built up an amazing network very quickly.
Thank
So
you.
kind of take us through that like networking journey as
Sure.
well.
Yeah, so when I was living in Ohio and working and selling commercial real estate, I was very lucky to work with a lot of very well-established people in their careers. I was definitely the youngest person in my brokerage, and so I was able to learn a lot about, what you should be doing to make those progressions. I knew being involved in the chamber was a very important piece of a lot of people's puzzles, and it was connecting you to a lot of the movers and shakers in the community. I also knew like there's so much business being done down here. It's a huge MSA. So the chamber is not the only place you should be focusing, but a very, very big one. So then from there, I joined the Pinellas Realtor organization. I joined a couple other smaller groups. I attended the Sun Leaders group as a guest a couple of times. So really just wanted to make sure I was like touching all of my bases and making sure that I was meeting all of the people in these spaces that were important in the community and like that everybody else knew. And I felt like that was going to take me into the places that I wanted to be as well. It would just accelerate things. And, I love being in sales and I love building relationships and getting to know people. And I think it's a really important thing for everyone to like build with each other. But for me personally, I just enjoy doing those things. And it's nice that I have a career and a job that like that's kind of the most important part of it. So anyway, after joining all of those networking groups and kind of, making sure I was being well connected in the community, I found myself asking like, well, like what's next? And is there something else that I could be doing that might even be more beneficial? So this opportunity just kind of like fell into my lap a little bit that I got a really good offer from Paychex, the company I'm currently with, and I'm now a senior sales consultant for them selling payroll. I've been with them 2 months on Monday. So it's been good. I really do feel like I've been able to really lean on those groups and like I'm definitely feel like I have a good base that has supported me. So that's kind of the approach I took to getting involved in the community, and I do feel like it allowed me this opportunity. So
I love it. I couldn't agree more. And like the way you handled it too, it's interesting. I mean, I started in mortgages when I was 26 at Quicken Loans, and same thing, a lot of people, a lot of mentors, right? A lot of people that have done this for years, and if you soak it up like a sponge, you become very good very quickly, even at a young age, and that's what you've done. And then to be able to transition that into B2B, so the business to business
Yep.
versus your business, it's a totally different game, right?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's a
definitely.
different sale. You're not closing hard. You're positioned, it's almost like chess. You're positioning yourself where you think you're going to get the most benefit. You've done a heck of a job with that,
Thank you.
which is awesome. I mean, and we both, it's interesting too, because I mean, we were sitting in a weird BNI core group together. I mean, we've got to bring it
Yeah.
up, right? Like,
Yeah,
we're
we
talking about the
do.
networking. So we were, and it was like, it was weird. And like, it ended up being 5 people. But I mean, out of that, like myself, you, Robbie Hill, our financial advisor, love Robbie, we all wanted to do something. And we ended up all getting into the same group where
Right.
we know 50% of the folks in there already because we network with them and we love them already. And what an opportunity. I just thought it was so freaking amazing. That's like, we went through the valley,
Yeah, we did.
we went through
Yep.
some shit, but at the end of the day, we ended up right where we were supposed to be given. I mean, I would attribute that to our positioning and the job that you've done positioning yourself with the right people. So you're the obvious choice. They want you in the group. They'll fight to pull you in the group. So I
Well,
think we're going to do okay.
Yeah, and I mean, enough about me. You're like everywhere all the time. I don't know how you are so involved in all of these groups, and like everybody knows you. Everybody knows that you're the mortgage guy. So,
It's good.
I
Thank
mean,
God.
yeah, thank God. But just to point out, like a lot of these groups I know of because of you. So,
Yeah, and that's an interesting point too. And I'm glad that I was able to like pass that torch, and you do it for folks now too. And you're like, hey, I
yeah.
see value in this human. Let me invite them to this group. I think they're going to be a good fit. I came into the chamber because my buddy Jake Moore, More Resource Insurance, invited me and said, hey, this will be a good fit for you. I met Bella Wood. I met Dan, the payroll man. I met
Yeah.
these people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what they did. They literally grabbed me and said, you're coming everywhere. You're doing everything. We're going to expose you to everything and all the groups. And then you can figure out which is going to be the best and who you really want to build with and spend your time with. And that's exactly what I did. But that's also exactly what you did. It's just, we
Yeah.
just keep passing. We have good people really just showing you, here's the way, and let me make introductions that may have taken you years
Mm-hmm.
to make, right? Or even get to talk to somebody. Great. That's how we advance our business. And it's a cool community.
It is a cool
it's,
community.
you don't see that anywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't up in Michigan. We have lots of loan officers up there, and they are amazing people, and they do very well, and they all have that Quicken background for years,
Yeah.
right? But it's a different platform up there, and it's more call center and this and that. And nobody's doing the big chamber things that we do, and the BNI and all the give back and all the stuff. I mean, this is amazing. It's
It
amazing
is.
down
Yeah,
here.
I feel the same way. I definitely think that people in this community, I feel like where I'm from, I felt this way back home as well. But here, there's a lot of people that just want everyone to be successful, and there's enough to go around. I think there's some areas of this city where people are a little more territorial, depending on like what you do and who you work for. But overall, like general statement, people really want everyone to be involved because there's just enough business for all of us. So it's not like people are gatekeeping. And I really do like that about St. Pete.
I 100% agree. Like, I mean, I hang out with mortgage people down here all the time. I run a mortgage company, and I'm hanging out with the competition, and people probably think that's weird.
Yeah, one of my best friends is a title rep when
And you guys were always hanging out. You were doing, but it's kind of because you realize exactly what you said. There's enough to go around, and the way I look at it too is, I've met some great individuals. Andre Taylor is one of my favorite human beings. He works for Guaranteed Rate, does it very well. He's an awesome dude. I wish he'd come work for me. That's somebody I actually trust. I want to hang out with him because even if he's closing the loan, I know he's doing it morally and ethically, and like, that's awesome. And eventually he'll come work for me if I keep pushing him hard enough. We'll see what happens. But that's a recruiting platform where you get to be put in front of individuals and now make those decisions. Like, oh, yeah, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's see where this can go,
Definitely.
So, I mean, it's all great stuff.
There are a lot of junk websites on the internet, cluttered, neglected, and forgotten. Nobody wants to visit a site with outdated information, broken links, and security vulnerabilities. That's why Name and Creative is here to make the internet and your business more tidy. Don't let your website become a digital junkyard. Reach out to us today, and we'll make sure your website is well maintained with fresh content to boost search rankings, keep visitors engaged, and grow revenue. Connect with us at info@nameandcreative.com or visit our website at nameandcreative.com to get started.
But now you've transitioned, you're 2 months into Paychex, you're in BNI, you're in the chamber, you're doing it all with Paychex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your position and then what you're doing to help your clients and all that good stuff.
Sure. So my position, I am a senior sales consultant and I focus on payroll. Paychex does a lot of different things, whether that be HR, insurance, benefits. So they do a lot, but my focus is payroll. And there is a 6-week training program at Paychex that I'm wrapping up. So, I think my time has been pretty occupied with a lot of just getting my feet under me. So it was 6 weeks of like training classes, and then you get homework and assignments and, really learning the products and learning about the company. And then, there's also the aspect of making sure I'm in those networking spaces and seats and like people in my circles know what I'm doing. And, you never want to be like dropped off the face of the earth when you're making a change. You want your connections like on the same page as you kind of. And then I'm focusing primarily on banking and CPA relationships. Like that's what my channel, they call it, is growing and building those referral sources because banking and CPA partners, they get a lot of benefit and we have great referral programs for them. When they send us referrals, we're able to give them a really good incentive program. So that's kind of my focus on a day-to-day as well. I have probably stopped at 50 CPA firms this week.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's so many. There's just so many.
Yep.
And again, the banking partners are a little different than the CPA partners and like the programs that we can offer for those referrals. But that's kind of just the gist of like my day-to-day is a mix of training, networking, and then stopping into my accounts and like introducing myself, building that relationship, educating them on what it is I'm doing, and then going from there. I'm still definitely in the startup stages, but I've got a few deals in my pipeline. I'm closing things within the next couple of weeks, and I do feel like I am in a really good spot, and I feel like it's kind of a breath of fresh air, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And that's awesome. I gotta make a few comments. Number one, Paychex and their culture sounds amazing. I love the fact that's what I come from is corporate, right?
Yeah.
Between Quicken and UWM. Their training was incredible. It brings you up to speed. You're doing all that. They're investing in you. They're actually allowing you to network too. They're not keeping you in the office just at a phone. They're saying, get out there, go get business, network. We encourage you to do that.
Right.
That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, so we have a huge corporate office in St. Pete, in Carillon.
Oh, it's right across from my house.
Yeah, exactly. Right across from Feather Sound. So we have a huge corporate office there, but I don't have an office. Like I don't have a desk at the office because I'm supposed to be out every day, which I think is really cool. Sometimes it's a little tricky because my car is where I keep all of my things, but it's nice. The expectation is to be out doing things, which I have not always felt that way in the past.
Yep. And the more you're seen, the more business you're going to get. It's weird how it works. You go to an event and all of a sudden somebody goes, oh, I've been thinking about you.
Yes.
I wanted to introduce you to so-and-so, or here's somebody's card. I've got a referral for you. They're exactly what you're looking for. And it's like, oh man, so for them to allow you to do that, it's amazing. But then on top of that, you're wearing 3 hats right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're doing it all. You're training. You're going through that at the same time. You're doing all the networking and you're going and getting new business, which you're very good at. So you're balancing everything. So it's obvious you're going to be successful when all you're doing is training's over. You're just focusing on getting more in. But that's got to be a lot to balance right now with that and 2 hurricanes and this.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
crazy time down here.
Yeah,
It's
it
wild
is
right now.
crazy time right now. My first couple of so I started at Paychex again about 2 months ago, and my first day was the week after Hurricane Helene. And then I had my first week, and then my second week was Hurricane Milton. So it definitely,
Wild.
like, the first couple of weeks I felt like were shot.
Yeah.
So, the last month I've been kind of playing catch up, and I've been clocking about 60 hours a week right now, which for an entrepreneur is normal. And it's hopefully not going to be that way forever, but you got to do what you got to do.
You 100% do, and you're very resilient. But yeah, how are you building? I guess a lot of people will ask, constantly, hey, I see you're having success. How do you build in free time? How do you do this? You're doing 60 hours. I get it. That's
Yeah.
what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you doing to build in free time for yourself to make sure that you're able to recharge and do all this every day?
Yeah, I really utilize my like 7 to 10 p.m. hours for I love lifting and I love yoga, and I use ClassPass, so I'm able to like try a lot of different studios in the area. And I go to the Y for if I'm gonna lift or like, do some cardio. So going to the gym every night is very just important for me. I think it's the time that I can just decompress and leave it all at the office or, in the car. And then my weekends are like my reset and revive time. I have a roommate. We spend a lot of time with our friends and my boyfriend, and I am big into like meal prepping and cooking, and we, just there's time for work and there's time for play. And if you work on the weekends, you just have to make sure to build in time for yourself too. And luckily, I don't have a lot of other responsibilities other than working. So, my time is not very taken up by like, I don't have any kids and I don't have any pets, and that might sound sad, but one day I will have those things. So right now I'm fine focusing on my extracurriculars when I'm not working.
100%. No, I mean, it's great. I mean, that's literally how I built my business and compartmentalized my life, was through weight training and all of that for decades. And it really helped me excel in business, and it helped me for different stages of life. And that's what you're doing too. And like mentally, you're able to let it all go. You release endorphins. Life feels good. You're back out there. So that's awesome that you're doing that. That's something you'll probably always do because it's a part of us, right? Like, amazing. And then building a time with friends, your boyfriend, everything else, you have to do that because you're going to go crazy otherwise. So,
Definitely.
I mean, everything you're doing is setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, thank you. And I think in a job like what we have, where you're living your life kind of always on go, when you don't have to go, you have to like recognize that, and you're like, oh, I have 2 hours to myself. Like, I need to make some dinner and go to the gym. And then, you get back into it later. So it's kind of nice being able to like spend your time the way you need to spend your time. It's very like self-motivated, self-started, entrepreneurial. I mean, when you have 20 minutes to yourself, like, are you going to go for a walk? Or are you going to bust out 20 calls? Or can you do both at the same time? I mean, it's kind of like being as productive and efficient as you can be while also not burning yourself out.
Yeah, that's a balance.
It's a balance.
You said a lot, and
Yeah.
but you literally said exactly what it takes to do it, right? And so many of us do that every day, and it goes unacknowledged. It's like that's how you build successful habits. That's how you have sustainability going into the future, and that's how you keep getting to live here and partying here in this awesome community, right?
Yeah,
It pays the bills, it allows for
Yeah.
things, So you're in Paychex, everything's going well. You're moving forward. 2025 is coming up. What future plan wise, where do you kind of see everything going in the next year or 5 years for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been really itching to invest in some real estate. I don't know if that looks like buying a duplex or like a fourplex, but I would love to become more like financially independent, and I think having lots of different revenue and income streams is super important for that. I mean, that's really the only way you can do it. So I think investing in real estate, that's always been something I've been interested in. that is a 2025 goal. And, I see that growing in a couple different ways, whether that be property management within the next 5 or, owning other sort of businesses. I think I could see myself by the time I'm 30 having lots of different like ventures going on. And so I really want to like keep saving and investing my money and just keep trying to put myself in a position where I can really make that happen. I rent my apartment right now, so that will definitely have to change soon. And then my family's all back in Ohio, so I also could see myself wanting a place there and a place here, and maybe being able within the next 5 years to like split time. I would love for them to come down during the winter more, and I would love to be able to spend the summers there more. So those are some like things off the top of my head that I could see happening within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And then also just continuing to grow in my current role that I think could take me. I mean, Paychex is a huge company. There's so many things I could be doing and like being, I guess, promoted into. And I really like my boss. I really like my team. I feel like there's a lot of room for growth there too. So again, I think it's important for me, well, for everyone, but I like being in situations where I'm constantly learning from people and like progressing and just kind of growing. So I think that could look a lot of different ways.
Which is awesome that you keep all of those options open, right? Like,
yeah.
because anything's possible. You're
Right.
putting in the work. You could do any of that. In real estate here, I think you're going to be pretty good with that. I think that's a decent investment down here.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So no, that's amazing. And like the home in Ohio, like I think about that all the time too, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, it'd be nice to also have like some kind of home in Michigan, like on a lake or something, and then family can stay there, and then you know what I mean? It's
Totally
fun, and then you can bounce up and down. So
yeah.
that's a really good goal, like for 5 years. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, a lake house. That's
what you have to do,
actually
right?
a hack, because then I'll
Yes.
spend all like my free time there when I can in the summer and rent it out when I'm not able to.
Yeah, and then people get that beautiful view when you're renting it out in the
Yep.
winter, and the fire, and if they really enjoy that, which we certainly don't. Hey,
Yeah.
awesome.
Awesome. Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's very cool. And like even staying within Paychex, like I mean, sounds like an amazing company, sounds like an amazing culture, and like a lot of times you will be promoted through there, and they have paths for you, right? And they probably laid those out and said, here's how you can work your way up the sales path to RVP or whatever it may be, and here's a goal here. And it's like, why not keep those options open?
Yeah, you really never know.
You never know. You could be running your own 2 companies plus doing this, but you could do it all.
Yeah.
I feel like you have the energy for it. So
Well, thank you. I feel like some days I could. Other days I'm like, oh my gosh, we should be at the beach. But again, that's the beauty of being a business owner.
it is. Yeah, because if you really need that mental health day, you can just go, okay, I'm going to the beach. And then you can just pull your laptop out there,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Hotspot it, and then there you go.
Work
And
from anywhere.
it's 100% it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was awesome. I mean, really loved it. Tell everybody, again, who you are, how they can get a hold of you.
Sure.
Exactly what you're looking for, all the good stuff about Paychex.
All right. So I'm Emma VanWinkle. I am a senior sales consultant at Paychex. You can contact me through email, phone number, social media, but phone is probably the best. Should I say my number? Okay.
Don't worry about that. You're under no obligation. So
Okay. And I think a good like lead or a referral source for me would be banking and CPA partners. But again, I can focus on like really any small to mid-sized business that is in need of payroll services or really just wants to, bounce some ideas off of me. I am open to 1 to 99 sized companies. So 1 to 99 employees is the size I can kind of work with. And yeah, just really excited to be here. Thanks, Mike.
heck yeah, thank you so much. And again, this is Mike Wagner with Green Oak Lending Group, Rooted in Community podcast. Thank you guys.